Hello everyone, hope you can hear me. You may hear a little bit of background noise today, so if you do, just ignore it. You should be able to hear me over the top of it because of my microphone. So today we're going to talk about the cycle of change, and this was prompted by a question that I hear all the time, absolutely 100% all the time. Clients coming in and saying, I had to start over, or, I don't understand why I've gained back 5 pounds or 10 pounds or 20 pounds, or they're losing the same 15 pounds over and over and over and over again. And especially with my diagnostic patients, they have usually had a cycle of change happening over and over and over again. And today, that is exactly what we're going to talk about. My name is Jamie J. Miller, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, which is a really long name to say that I basically dig deep. I hit the mark on what exactly is going on in your health using diagnostics and lab work. And I do all the things that typical Western medical doctors don't do. They don't take the time to do. They don't have the time to do. Again, I am not a doctor, and I am not here to diagnose you. I'm here to investigate on what is really going on and eliminate you putting Band-Aids on it over and over and over again, and therefore not ever getting to the root cause or the root struggle of why it is that your health is in the toilet, or not feeling good, or constipation, or hot flashes, or fatigue, or weight loss resistance, or whatever that may be for you. In fact, it's just about stop ignoring the signs and the symptoms. Stop believing they're just going to go away on their own, and dig in there and hit the mark, figure out what exactly is causing those struggles, and actually do something about it in a right, functional, homeopathic, naturalistic way, because your body is designed to heal itself. Plain and simple. Okay, so one thing I want to do right now is in this live, I'm going to go ahead and share really quickly. So I'm sorry that I am looking down. I'm going to share the image that I posted. I wonder where that's at. I bet it is right there. The cycle of change. I'm going to post it in the comment section because that's just the easiest place for me to post it at this moment and feel like everybody can actually get a hold of it in a short amount of time. I am also going to share this video in my free Self-Health Hero community. This community is where I really just don't hold back. I don't let that group keep falling into the same cycle of the Western medicine culture, which is either just put a prescription drug on it, or that you can lose 5 pounds in 5 minutes type mentality that we seem to be bombarded with in our society, because it doesn't work. It's the reason why our society is becoming more and more obese, and that is not changing even after years and years of more research and more information on Google than you could ever imagine, and yet our society still seems to be getting larger and larger and more unhealthy. So let me share this into that group because I don't want them to miss it. Group, so that would be Google, or not Google, but to put in Self-Health Hero and your search bar, and what you would do is say, hey, I am on now, and then I'll post that in there. And you guys could go in there and just decide that, hit join. And there's like 3 questions there. I need to know what your email address is just so that I can get a hold of you if there's something pertinent of information. I do not send a whole lot out in emails. You get these lives in your emails. If you miss those, you get some updated information, programs that I might be doing, but usually about once a week. And sometimes I'm not even great at that. So I am all too well familiar with inbox vomit. All right, so let's talk about the cycle of change. So again, this was prompted, it's really triggered because I've been hearing it more and more from clients, especially my diagnostics. Now, with my diagnostics in my one-on-one, this is exactly why I do that program in particular. It's because I have one-on-one interaction. I can figure out where they're at in the cycle of change and how to keep them going through the cycle. And that is what I want you to understand more than anything, is that everybody is at some point in time in this cycle of change. Nobody's exempt from that. There's not a superhuman on the face of the earth. There is nobody that is not at some point in the cycle of change, and it will continue to move. Granted, there are people that are stuck at one point, but that's typically by choice. And again, you would want to understand that as well. If you are stuck in the pre-contemplative stage, that's usually by choice. And so if you're stuck in the action phase, that is usually by choice. So understanding the that first and foremost that every single person is in the cycle of change. You've also heard this kind of talk about it as the hero's journey. And every person is a hero. This is another reason why I named it my self-help hero group. Every person is a hero and is on that cycle of a hero's journey where you go and you conquer, and then you go and you conquer, and then you go and you conquer, and sometimes you don't conquer. And so that all talks about that. But you'll see in the comment section below this, and it's kind of bright, and don't read it because it's backwards on live, but this image right here. So if you go into the comments, would probably be the very first comment underneath this live, you'll see that picture and you can pull it up. Save it to your phone, whatever you need to do to help you fully understand that every single person, I think there's an echo in the room, every single person is going through the cycle of change at some point. So the first stage is called pre-contemplation. This is that person that doesn't even know they have a problem, isn't even willing to discuss that there's a possibility that there's an issue. This is someone that, drives by the gym and kind of makes fun of the people that are in it. This is that person that, yeah, exactly. This is that person that is just not willing to even discuss it. Doesn't even want to even research it, look at it, anything. The pre-contemplation stage would be, like I said, you're not even thinking about it at all. It's not even on the radar, okay? Then what happens is you're going to move into contemplation. This is where I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that could possibly be an issue. Like smoking could possibly be bad for me. I could possibly feel better if I go to the gym. I could possibly feel better if I lost 15 pounds. I could possibly feel better if I got my thyroid diagnosed through diagnostic labs. I could possibly feel better if I drank more water. So you're just thinking about it. It is open to ideas. You're open to the idea that there's something that you can do about it. That's the contemplation phase. Now, granted, these are two separate phases. So you could be in one, and then obviously you shift into the other. But it is its own phase. Thinking about it is its own phase. And then from there, you're going to move into preparation. This phase right here, I would say most people don't give enough credit. They think they move from contemplation straight to action, and that is not the case. You have to have a preparation phase, and every single time you skip over the preparation phase, you will end up in a relapse, which I will talk about that in a minute. So if you do not actually give your preparation phase the time that it deserves, you're going to go into action phase and fall flat on your face. So preparation would be that I figured out that there possibly could be a problem. I'm thinking about what I could do about it, and now I'm preparing myself. So in preparation, that would be like prepping my food for the week, okay? So I've decided that I need to clean up my diet, and now I'm preparing my food for the week and to make sure that I stay on track. That's a great example of preparation phase. Everything needs a preparation phase, where I'm thinking about going to work out at 5:30 in the morning, so I'm going to lay my clothes out in the morning so when I get out of bed, I don't have to think about what to wear. That's preparation phase. It is just as important as action phase. It is almost more important than action phase. Then from there, from preparation phase, you go straight into action phase. That means you actually do the dang thing. And if you're with me one-on-one, usually I don't use the word dang. You do it. You do the frickin' work. You go to the gym. You show up. You do the work. That's the action phase. Okay? So again, we weren't even thinking about it, to we were thinking about it, to then we were preparing to do something about it, to now we are doing something about it. Okay? Then you go into maintenance phase. Maintenance phase is when doing something about it no longer has to, is just what it is. Like me and my profession, I've worked out for so long, I've ate well for so long, it is not even a thought that I would ever do anything differently, okay? It is not a thought. That in that area of my life, it is full on maintenance phase. However, everyone then has what's called a relapse phase, and that can really happen anywhere in the cycle. Okay, the relapse phase can happen anywhere in the cycle to where you just fall off track. You just have a week where you blow your diet. I would say in the maintenance phase, if you're having a relapse every other week or every other month, then you're really not in maintenance phase. You are still very much in action phase, okay? So in maintenance phase, I would say you're limited on your relapse. When you do relapse, it's usually a season or something in particular that normally wouldn't have happened is actually happening. If you had a life-changing event or whatever. For perfect instance, yesterday I was working out and I dislocated my hip. So so if you see me wincing or in a little bit of pain today, yes, I am. So that is an event that kind of set me back a little bit. And so it's kind of similar to a relapse or an injury. But it's also something that if I recognize it for what it is, I just keep going, all right? So then I can put myself into the cycle of thinking about what I'm going to do about it, preparing what I'm going to do about it. I have a ski trip coming up in a couple of weeks, so how is it going to affect that? And then action would be going to the chiropractor, making sure I'm taking my Epsom salt baths, making sure I'm doing my essential oils on my hip, relaxing the muscles, deep breathing, meditating, all of those things that I need to do. But I've had a course redirection because of this life-changing event. Also could be seen as a relapse. Every single person relapses. And I think this is like, again, it's like a big billboard with flashing lights. Every single person relapses. Everybody. You're not wrong for doing it. This is where the struggle comes with my clients. And one of my one-on-one clients where I work really hard with them in our program to get them to understand that, first of all, that everybody relapses. But it's when that client goes, I'm a failure because I relapsed, or I can't believe I did that, or they sit in the, oh, I'm so bad, or I'm so wrong, or I can't do this because I didn't do it right the first time, or because I relapsed, I'm never going to be able to accomplish it. The longer they sit in that thought process, they cannot get back into the pre-contemplation stage. They cannot get into the contemplation stage. They cannot get into the action and then back into maintenance and then therefore see the results. So how long they sit in that relapse, which again, as I've said, everybody relapses, will depend on whether they're going to actually get sustaining, maintainable results. So my job in my one-on-one things are to make sure, one-on-one programs are to make sure that my clients, it's not that I'm making sure that they don't relapse, because I recognize that every client will relapse at some point, but I make sure they don't stay there, that they get back into the cycle. And that's what's called the upward spiral. That's when they learn from the relapse, and each time they learn from the relapse, they go through the cycle a little bit better each time. It's not that they're not going to relapse. It's not that they're not going to go through the cycle, but they're going to be able to go through the cycle that much better because of the relapse. You are better because of the relapse. You're not necessarily better only because of the actions or doing it perfectly. That's not how you get better. And that's the fundamental aha moment that I want you to see, is that you are better because of your relapses. You are better because of your failures. And that's exactly what I do when the diagnostics, because most of the time people come to me and they've gone to several doctors, and the doctors, and it just hasn't worked. And so they're still looking for that quick fix, that better way, for someone to tell them that it's just one thing and that they can eliminate. They're still looking, hear me, they're still looking to be able to eliminate the relapse. And I'm here to tell you that the relapse is normal. The relapse is normal, and especially in diagnostics and taking care of your health in a holistic and natural way, in a self-health hero way, that is where we get to the next level, is accepting and embracing the relapse of your health and then actually doing things about it to eliminate that particular struggle. Because you got plenty of relapses that are going to take place as you age. You might as well embrace that. So that's the cycle of change. Again, the graphic is down below. If you have a question or a thumbs up or a heart or whatever, make sure you put that, give it some love. This video will stay in this group. It will also go out to my email list. If you're not on that, you are welcome to get on that. I think I have a pop-up on my website, jamiejmiller.com. If not, I'll post in the group a link to a form. Anyways, we're working all that. We're trying to get all our forms in the right places and all that, so everybody can kind of stay up to date and up to speed. Oh, and that reminds me, Come January 4th, I believe, we start the probiotic challenge, which is a free challenge. It's only 5 days, and it's not just about probiotic as a supplement. It's about probiotics in your life, probiotics in your diet, where you can get it in all aspects, and how important they are to your gut, which then leads us into our thyroid reset. So back in September, I did my liver reset, and now we are on to thyroid because they're all connected. Gut, thyroid, liver. And so we're moving on to thyroid. Once we get that tackled, then we can move on to the gut as well. So that will start at the end of January. That's a 4-week program. And oh my gosh, it is full of information that is going to help you. And I would say that program fits right in there into the action stage. Doing that program and doing the work, and so that you can send your body to a new level of health. Okay, that's all I got. Thank you for joining me either on now or on the replay, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.